Since the arrival of Rob Edwards, more fans have been vocal about bringing more players from the academy into the first team. In today's video, guys, I'm going to give you a breakdown of my thoughts about the academy, talk about what's happened in the past, the present, and also the future. At the end of the video, I want to give you guys my overall thoughts on what needs to happen so we can see more academy players get into the first team. So let's talk about what we've seen so far. Now, over the last 12 years, since actually, in fact, my generation of Luton Town fans, we haven't seen many Luton players break into the first team, stay in the first team, and play a number of games. Now, we have seen two players in particular that have done that in Jake Howse and James Justin. Jake Howse was, you know, he had a good career at Luton. He went from non-league to League Two, and then, you know, unfortunately just couldn't, you know, get to that level which Nathan Jones wanted him to get to when he was the manager. Jake Howse obviously is now retired from football and is now doing whatever he is currently doing. I should actually make a video on where Jake Howse is now, actually, to be fair. But anyway, he's now not playing football, whereas with James Justin, he is at Leicester City. Unfortunately, he's had 2 serious injuries, but if he didn't have those 2 serious injuries, I could probably say he'd be one of the best fullbacks in the Premier League because he's that good of a player. And players like James Justin, you know, haven't happened quite often at Luton, which we would have liked. We need players like James Justin to keep happening once every 2 years. You know, we want the academy to do really well, and I will explain why we haven't seen more players like James Justin over in the academy in this video. But yeah, apart from those 2 particular players, we haven't. Our youngsters that have broke through the team in my generation haven't really done well. You've got players such as Arthur Reed, Bako, Akinfenwa, Frankie Masonda, you know, Freddie Hines, all those players there. You know, Luton either sold to another club higher up at the time, but now all those players are playing below Luton. Some of them are in League One at Sheffield Wednesday. In fact, 2 of them are at Sheffield Wednesday in Bako and Akinfenwa. You've got Freddie Hines, who's playing in non-league. You've got Arthur Reed, who's playing in Colchester. You've got Frankie Masonda, that's playing in Scotland. So these players haven't gone on to have, I don't want to disrespect them and say great careers, but they haven't gone on to as high as Luton and done, you know, even better than, you know, not to the same standard as James Justin. Now, majority of those players which I've just mentioned there were under the same FA Cup youth team. Years ago, Luton did an FA Cup youth run in the FA Cup trophy for the youngsters, and they went quite high up into the latter stages of the competition, and that's why a lot of those players are probably still playing now, because of, you know, they did extremely well in that competition and now playing in the Football League. Now, this time around in this particular year, obviously the youth team has done extremely well, and it's getting slowly back to that same round of where we were those previous years ago. And it would be a great achievement if Luton this year can go on to bigger and better things and outdo that group of players, because if they do, that means a few of those youngsters could potentially sign professional contracts and actually make it into the first team and maybe feature and have a great career at Luton. So that is the current situation right now. Now, the reason why maybe we haven't seen many players just like James Justin break through into the Luton Academy is because more eyes have been on the first team and also on the new stadium. Now, when a team goes from Championship to non-league and non-league back to Championship, the first team will always take priority, unfortunately. And in fact, it's like that with most football clubs. But because of the journey of Luton Town, more and more eyes have been on the first team. So the academy has obviously been put to one side, unfortunately, because of what's happened on the pitch. Also, off the pitch with the stadium, that has been a lot of focus. You know, we need a stadium in order for Luton Town to progress, and that's obviously had a delay. It's, you know, hopefully it's going to happen soon. I think the stadium is for a different type of video in the future, but yeah, a lot of eyes have also been on the stadium. So when you've got a first team that's performing really well on the pitch, and then the stadium in the background as well happening, the academy will always get put aside. But I think now it's time to put more eyes on the academy. Now, Nathan Jones, who used to obviously be our manager, he didn't really play youth players. That was something which he just didn't often do, unfortunately, and he was kind of forced to play James Justin. He wasn't really going to play James Justin because Dan Potts was fit, he was playing. But when Dan Potts got injured, that's when James Justin got to play, and fans were very vocal on, you need to start playing James Justin because he's that good. And you know, proof is in the pudding there. He's obviously gone on to bigger and better things. But apart from that, Nathan Jones didn't really bring in many youth players through to the first team, and I don't think that's down to him in particular. I just don't think the youth academy have been that good over the last, you know, 10 years, and that's just my opinion. I don't think the standard of players have been good enough. You know, we've seen a lot of players from the local areas who have been picked up by other academies actually do a lot better than our academy, and that is something which we need to do better in, whether that is a scouting network or, you know, the youth intake needs to be much more improved. Something needs to get better in terms of the players that we are currently got at our academy, and also yeah, maybe the coaching standard. You know, there's a lot of other things that need to happen in order for more players to go from the academy into the first team. Now, what have we done currently? Well, firstly, we've, you know, massively improved the youth, you know, academy. We've got former Luton Town players that that obviously know the club inside out, have now become coaches, who are doing extremely well this season. You've got McCormack, you've got Alex Lawless, you've got Paul Benson, all three players that have done extremely well at Luton in their playing careers. And we've also got Paul Hart, who obviously used to be the assistant manager of Luton, who is now the head of youth development. And if you actually know anything about Paul Hart's history, he is known for bringing players through. He did it at Leeds United, and he also did it at Charlton as well. He brought in a good selection of youngsters who are currently playing in the Premier League as well. So he does have a very successful background at bringing youth players in. So right now, we're currently in a really good situation in bringing youngsters from the academy through to the first team. But what do we need to do in the future? Well, we need to find these players. Now, Luton, we're in a unique area of the country. We've got 3 counties near us. We've got Bedfordshire, which is the county which Luton is obviously in. You've got Hertfordshire, and then you've got Buckinghamshire. Luton has no competition in Bedfordshire. We're the only professional football club in Bedfordshire. That means we've got the whole county to try and attract these players. Unfortunately, yes, you do have, you know, scouts from Arsenal, Chelsea, West Ham, the Premier League clubs. These scouts do come to these areas as well. But we are the main club in Bedfordshire, which gives us a massive advantage in trying to find some youth prospects that could try and break into the first team and, you know, become, you know, maybe Luton Town legends. We have that, you know, ability right on our doorstep. Next to us, we have Hertfordshire, that have 2 really poor football clubs, which will not be named, but we still have Hertfordshire. That's an area which we can still attract players, and we have done in the past. You know, in the past years, we've brought in Hertfordshire youth lads to come and play for Luton, who have also gone on to play for Luton. We also have Buckinghamshire. Now, Buckinghamshire has 1 real professional football club. It does have another one, but they also shall not be named. Buckinghamshire is also massive. Buckinghamshire is a county which I also live in. So I've actually seen youth players frequently whether I've been playing football or whether my younger mates have been playing football. I have seen the talent in Buckinghamshire, and trust me, Buckinghamshire has plenty of talent. You just need to go and find these youngsters and, you know, try and convince them to play for the youth team. But, you know, we don't need much convincing. We are a club that is on the rise, and that's what people need to remember. We are a club that, you know, wants to play in the Premier League, and that will excite people in the local areas, you know. Oh, I could take Luton to the Premier League, you know, and that is a good mindset to have, and a good ambition to have, especially when you're at that young age. So I've spoken about, you know, the local areas. There's plenty of talent in those areas. When you compare Luton's areas compared to all the northern clubs, you know, there's a lot more competition up north. You know, I talk about like clubs at Bolton, Wigan. They've got so much competition. They've got Blackburn, they've got Burnley, they've got Preston, they've got Liverpool, they've got Man City, they've got Man United. You know, they've got all those, you know, top clubs in those areas that have competition. But yet Bolton, yet Wigan, they're able to bring a lot more youngsters through compared to what Luton are. And that needs to change. It really does need to change. And hopefully that does since the appointment of Paul Hart. Hopefully we find more and more great youngsters and try and, you know, Don't let them go to Watford, don't let them go to the London clubs, and hopefully stay at Luton, develop into a really good player, and then break into the first team. And then let's talk about our manager, Rob Edwards, his history. Rob Edwards is known for working with youngsters. He worked with the England setup with the youth players, so he knows exactly what he's looking for in a youth prospect in breaking into the first team. The youth players which he's worked with have gone on to play, you know, for England, and also, you know, play in the Premier League, so he knows great talent when he sees it. So if they're gonna impress someone, you want to impress Rob Edwards. He also worked with the Wolves Academy, which he did extremely well at, and actually won the league title and stuff. So he knows exactly what he's looking for. So we're in a really good situation going forward, and we should start seeing more and more youth players from the academy break into the first team. It needs to happen, and I do think it will, because if the youth academy improves and improves and improves, and we upgrade our setup as well, upgrade the facilities around in this youth academy, and we start playing youth players instead of signing, you know, £5 million midfielders, you know, we're gonna save a lot more money, and also we will, you know, we could sell, and we can then take in a lot more revenue, and then we can build and invest into the squad, invest into other areas of the football club. So the academy needs to stop being pushed back a little bit, and more eyes need to now be put on the academy going forward. But yeah, guys, that is the end of this video. Hopefully you did enjoy listening to my thoughts on the academy. Let me know what you think down in the comment section of the video, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.